With the early access release just a few short weeks away, I thought we'd spend a video talking about everything that we know about housing in Wayfinder so far. This goes for both what will exist in early access and what will come later down the road. All of the information I show today is either gathered from the first dev stream that Airship Syndicate held, or other various sources I found while searching. Diving straight in, the first thing that I think is important to mention is that your first house will not actually be a house, but instead an apartment. This apartment is said to last the entirety of the early access period, and of course it'll still be available when the full game comes out, but future plans for housing and neighborhoods are coming soon, but we'll talk about that later. The apartment will basically be your room at the inn in Skylight. It is fully customizable with cosmetics, pets, trophies, and more. You can actually go extremely in depth with the designing, where you can customize down to the individual items that are going on your shelves. It's important to also note that there does look to be a limit as to how many items and lights can go into your apartment at one given time. They don't really mention it during the stream, but you can see that functionality is available and will likely be enabled at launch. But when starting your building journey, you can choose between 4 different categories. You can choose between decor, artifacts, trophies, and pets. Breaking them down one by one, the decor is basically all of your cosmetic items. It houses things like your furniture, your lighting, some small details, and wall decor. These will be unlocked between seasonal events, the reward tower, and various other rewards. Artifacts are the next category, and they are extremely interesting in my opinion. Most of them actually come from defeating certain bosses, and they come with a certain power attached to them. These powers will of course be equipable and can provide you a nice little boost when playing the game. The example they give is this chest-licking artifact called the Grand Deceiver, which I think I could guess what boss this is from, but they mentioned that equipping this artifact will allow you to obtain more gold while playing the game. Some of these artifacts will be better for solo, some might be better for groups, and you'll be able to swap the active ability no matter where you're at in the world. But this looks like a super fascinating system that I can't wait to hear more information about and see more examples of. Trophies are up next, and they are described as a mix between cosmetic items and artifacts. Different than artifacts, they are mostly a one-time interact and can give you another bonus while playing. I believe right now all of them are interactable, at least in one way or another. So one example they give is the Nexus of Memories, which spawns a single memory fragment per day. All of these trophies are earnable in-game, which is great news to hear. And last up, we of course have the pets. The current pets that are confirmed to be in the game are the Spruce Jay, Hermit Crab, Turtle, Venom Spawn Bot, and of course the Awaken level reward of the Founders Pack, the Rhyme Hunter Cub. Right now pets are unfortunately very limited. They kind of self-described it as version 1.0, but in the future they will follow you around in your house, and eventually actually go outside of your home as well and continue to follow you around. And I'm sure some of you guys are curious if you can actually pet the pets, so I'll play this clip with the sound on and let you guys find out.
And we are going to add animations for like your character bending down and interacting with the pets as well.
Absolutely,
Okay.
yes, absolutely. So. Definitely petting is on the radar. It's super important.
I just love how they address that head on. I know a ton of people were spamming them to pet the cub in the chat, and I'm glad they share our passion in that need. If you guys are enjoying the video this far, I'll ask you kindly to please hit the like button. Also feel free to subscribe. I post Wayfinder news and content updates, so subscribe to not miss a single thing. When building, you have a ton of control with how you place items. Like I mentioned earlier, you can get really exact and place items on top of other items, but there's also a grid that you can work with. You're able to actually snap to that grid, you can rotate with the grid, and even more options beyond that. One thing that I noticed during the stream is that there didn't look to be a ton of restrictions when it came to clipping. That's not to say that clipping is disabled, but instead that objects are designed for different surfaces. So for example, you might have a wall object or a floor object or even a surface object, which you can place on top of different items. The creativity you have is really up to you. So that's all of the stuff we have currently to look forward to in early access, but let's shift now over to the future of housing because it's very exciting to hear about. During the dev stream, they mentioned that the apartment really is your first step in the housing process. In the future, we should expect to see full houses exist within shared neighborhood levels. These neighborhoods are really meant to tie the community together, as you'll be able to see other players' houses and of course be able to enter them and visit with them. You could potentially even have a friend move in next to you, and you guys can both go around the neighborhood to check out other players' houses, or just hang out at your guys's. Neighborhoods are intended to be a very social aspect of the game, and they speak on the eventual adding of neighborhood quests, where you work with your neighbors to meet certain goals. Also, they speak on a friend artifact slot, where a friend can drop by and give you an artifact that you can equip after paying for it. Whether it is hanging out inside or outside, neighborhoods sound like a great way to keep the community engaged. Speaking of which, you'll be able to customize the outside of your house. We are still waiting for exact details on that. I know during the stream they just briefly mentioned that there might be like statues that you can put in your front yard, but if they bring in some sort of farming system into the game, I honestly might not touch another game. Floors, walls, material types are all planned to be customizable in the future, so really the team is trying their best to appeal to every type of player. The process that goes along with buying the house also sounds super unique. You'll first purchase a plot of land within your desired neighborhood level, you'll then select the desired style of house to go for, and the different room configurations to go along with it. A larger house does have even more benefits than just more stuff to cram in one space. You also get the opportunity to equip additional artifacts and grant you even higher bonuses when playing the game. To go further, each season will bring in new items for housing. Some might be in the ways of decor, and others might be in the way of artifacts earned from new bosses added during the season. There was also a really brief mention of holiday events as well, and if they do introduce events like that, we should expect to see even more customization items to unlock then. There was also a brief tease on guild housing and guild neighborhoods, but there's not too much detail about that just yet. If you guys would be interested in that in the future, let me know in the comments down below. Houses will continue to get bigger and bigger as you get further along in the housing system, so I absolutely cannot wait to see what the team at Airship Syndicate dreams up for us to dive into. But that is all I have for today. If you haven't done so already, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more Wayfinder news and content, and I'll catch you guys all in the next video.